I don't know that one.
I've heard that one.
All right, so we are going to work on finishing a worksheet. So far, we have taken, gentlemen, knock it off. We have taken 2 days to learn about our worksheet. Backing up, the first thing we have is our trial balance. The purpose of our trial balance is to make sure your debits and credits equal. If they don't equal, you stop and make sure it equals. Then we go over and do our adjustments. We adjust 2 accounts. We adjust supplies and we adjust prepaid insurance. Please remember when you're doing supplies and insurance that the number they give you is the new value of what they have, and you have to calculate the adjustments. Now, the next thing that we're doing is we're working on our income statement, our balance sheet columns. And when we look at our directions, it tells us extend the up-to-date balances to the balance sheet and income statement columns. Then we need to rule a single line across our income statement and balance sheet columns, total each column, calculate and record our net income or net loss, and label the amount in the account title column, and then total and rule the income statement and balance sheet column. So I'm going to walk you through that. The main thing that you need to realize is the account classification is going to dictate whether or not it goes on the income statement or on the balance sheet. It's not going to go on both. The whole point of a balance sheet is to balance your accounting equation. So our accounting equation is assets, liabilities, and owner's equity. So all assets, liabilities, and owner's equity are going to go on our balance sheet. All we do is transfer. We take what is on our adjustment column. If anything affects it in our, I take everything from our trial balance, see if anything affects it from our adjustment column, and then we put it on our balance sheet. So when I take a look at cash, cash has a debit balance of $9,800. Anything in the adjustment column for cash? So I take $9,800 debit from trial balance, and I put it as on the balance sheet as a debit for $9,800. I'm just transferring it from one to the other. When I get to supplies, I cannot take $456 and put it over here as $456 because of why? Because I have to do adjustments. This is a debit. This is a credit. So what do? Subtract. And then the new balance will go here on our balance sheet. So you need to know that we have cash through prepaid insurance are our assets. Our liabilities are going to be just accounts payable, Richard Navarro. And then our owner's equity is going to be a Gary Baldwin Capital and Gary Baldwin Drawing. Now, income summary does not have a balance yet. We're going to yet learn about income summary. Income summary would go on our income statement if it had a value, okay, because income summary, income statement. Now, the purpose of our income statement is to prove our net income or net loss. So, revenue and expenses are the ways we determine our net income or net loss. So we would do the same thing, transfer our numbers from here. Sales is a revenue account, has a credit normal balance. So it's going to go ahead and go on our income statement here as a credit. Now, I'll continue to go down until we get to insurance expense. Insurance expense has nothing in trial balance. But when I continue across, what is here? Okay, we have an adjustment of $250. Here is a very common mistake that students do. They see that these are debits, and they look here and they think this is a credit, and then they put this $250 on our income statement as a credit, but it shouldn't be a credit because why? It is a debit. This is a debit column. So just make sure you watch out for that. So we're going to go through and update our numbers. It'll go on either one. Then we're going to add up our income statement debit and credit columns, and then we'll total up our balance sheet debit and credit columns, and they will not equal. No. Our income statement columns are not going to equal because why? What's the purpose? To determine how much money we've made. Would agreed? Okay. Now, our balance sheet columns can't equal either because why? Oh, adjustment set is a really good idea. You're close on that. Why do people go into business? To make money, right? Isn't that the purpose of most businesses? Not a nonprofit. Everyone goes into business to make money, right? Now, who gets the money?
You.
Who's you?
Me.
Who's me? The owner.
Gary Baldwin.
Okay, so Gary Baldwin's got to get his money, right? So, On our income statement, we know the whole purpose is to figure out how much money we made or lost, right? Now, income statement is going to tell us how much money we made. The owner then gets that money. So once we add that net income back to our balance sheet, then your balance sheet's going to equal. But it won't equal until we figure out how much money we made. So that, in general, is what we're working on. So we ready to transfer some numbers? We'll go through, get it all up to where we total, and then I'll backtrack you again on how you find the number to make them equal, okay? So let's type some numbers. And I do this as a lot of clicking because hitting enter takes too long. Well, it's not that. It's just a matter of it goes enter all the way across. And that seems like too much work for me. I'm lazy, yes. Whatever it is here. So like supplies has a debit here of $456, and I'm crediting it here $136, so debit is still bigger. The only thing that goes on the income statement is your revenue and your expenses. So you have to think about the classification. Those are great questions. I like them. Accounting 2, everything going okay with the test now? All right. Caitlin, stop. Wrong column. Those got to go on your income statement. Revenue and down have to go on your income statement. The last one that goes on your balance sheet is going to be your drawing number. Yes, it will, always. Because everything above that is your balance sheet accounts. I'm just doing a quick glance to see how we're doing with our numbers. Doran, stop. Okay, so we have our numbers transferred over. Some of you are still typing a little bit. Now, Stevie, you're close, I'm just going to come help you a second. $555 credit on that one, because that one is a liability, so it's got to go on there. Okay. And then this one is our owner's equity. That one will go there. This one is still owner's equity, so that'll go on our balance sheet, but as a debit. That looks good. Okay. So, let's add up our income statement credit column, shall we? I know, that's why I like to do that one first. $4,320. Anyone agree? If you add them correctly? Now, you want to go through and do your income statement debit column. And so I'm going to add those up, 931, 250, 378, 131, 1,100. I got 2,790. Anyone concur? Yes? Okay, let's do the same thing for your balance sheet debit column. How do we do? Did anyone agree with my numbers? Hang on, I'll get to that. It is. Now, this is like a kafui conundrum because we're used to making sure that everything equals in accounting, right? Now, these do not equal. Okay. Think about the purpose of the columns. Income statement, the whole purpose is to determine did we make money or lose money. So let's look at our totals. This credit column has 4,320. What does this credit column equal? Sales, right? What does my debit column equal? Expenses. Which one's bigger? So what does that mean? Did we have net income or net loss? Net income. That word goes right here. Net loss. If your expenses are greater, instead of net income right here, you'd write the word net loss. Now, what is my net income? Exactly. How much? How do I determine it? Yep, just subtract the two, right? So I got the wrong number. I just looked at it, I'm like, that is not the right number. I got 1,530? Okay, so what we do with this number, this is the part that screws people up on the worksheet. This is the second most common mistake made. The first most common mistake is using the wrong number for adjustments that we did yesterday. Now, I found out that my net income is $1,530. I put that number right here. It goes on my income statement as a debit because when I add down, it will make my two numbers equal. What do we know about accounting? You can't have a debit without a credit. So if it goes here as a debit, where does it go on my balance sheet? Credit. Now here's the reason why. This is the important part. What does a net income do to owner's equity? Up or down? What is the normal balance of your owner's equity? Credit. So if I add this 1,530 here to this number, it makes your owner's equity number go up. Then when you add down, these two numbers should equal. That's how you find whether or not your net income is done correctly. Okay? So I'm going to put 1,530, and I know if I take 2,790 plus 1,530, that gives me 4,320. That's a really easy one. So the other thing is I put this number over here as a credit. So I have to put in my $15,440. And when I add those two numbers down, I got $16,970. And then I go, whoop, whoop, it equals, right? No, because you are going to make it equal. Now, this is what I see students do, though. They figure out the difference between here, and they subtract and put the number there, and then they figure out the difference between here and make it there. But that's not the whole point. It needs to be the same number from here over there. Now, I need you to think for a moment, what would we do differently if it was a net loss? So the number would go here as a credit, and then as a balance sheet debit, and what else would change? One more thing. This would say net loss. Okay? You will have one assignment in this chapter where you will have a net loss. One. Try her on your own.